you beautiful people. This is your host, Gabriel Phoenix, and that's right, we are back to action, and we have an action-packed day for you. That's right, and we're here to again with Lord of the Rings. Now, usually I will be doing Rise of Warlord, and unfortunately, my plans got a little ruined today. We were planning to do a full-on tournament with a couple of members in the game to do 1v1s, and we were gonna host that. That's still coming, but now it's gonna be moved to next week. So today my plans got a little canceled on that, so I decided to go, why not? Let's jump into Lord of the Rings and give these people what they want. They want that action-packed expert guide. Let's do that right now. All right, so let's go in, and before we continue on, as you know, my dogs always have to give a say in every video. They're gonna be loud and they're gonna bark and they're gonna introduce themselves, but man, I love them. But anyways, as I gotta say, this video is sponsored by BlueStack. That's right, BlueStack, they're a wonderful thing. What is BlueStack? BlueStack is exactly what it says it is. It is a gaming platform that you can play your mobile games if you wanted to free up your phone. Maybe you want to play 2 games. Instead of just playing 1 game on your phone, you can play a mobile game right on the computer as well as play a mobile game right on your phone. Or maybe you just want to give your phone a break and you want to recharge it while it's charging up, but you're too addicted to a game. I get like that all the time. I get too addicted to a game sometimes that I need another avenue, so I'm gonna use BlueStacks while my phone charged so I can keep playing on for those endless hours and endless grinding as we much love. Now, for everybody knows, down below is the download link. It also has Lord of the Rings, Rise to War, so make sure to download it. Get yourself Lord of the Rings, Rise to War on there and be able to join in and come and play. Alright, back to the game. Let's get into it. Let's talk about some expert advice. So by now you should be in Main City 10 as the game is loading up right here. You should be in your Main City 10. You should be having your conscription maxed out. Your barracks, don't worry about having that maxed out quite yet. It should be level 18, of course, when you're going in there. So let's jump into the main city. Make sure to collect. You should be producing by now 17,000 in gold. When you go into your barracks, you should have at least 3 to 4 units that are maxed out or almost completely maxed out. If they're maxing, you have 1 unit, because it does take a little bit of time for the gold to build up, I'm not gonna lie. But you should be able to have your tier 3 maxed out, no exception. You also want to have, if you have trackers, you want to make sure your trackers are maxed out as well. If you use crossbow, you don't need to max them out. Level 9 is good. You don't need to go any further than that. If you want to level up to max level, you can go ahead. Your stalkers are not worth spending the gold on. The horsemen are not worth spending the gold on. Brawlers, yes, you could probably spend a little bit of gold if you're able to do that, but it's better when you do the berserkers. So let's go back into the city. Like I said before, you should have a barracks level 18 by now. Your apothecary should be level 10. Your conscription post should be level 20. Your war room should be maxed out. Your grains, not so much, should be 18. Same as all these, they'll be level 18. They don't have to be level 20. 18 is fine. Your marketplace is very important. You want to have that at least maxed out to level 5. For evil factions, I do recommend leveling up your battlements and as well as your bowman towers, because you do get attack a lot and you need to have a defense. Your training camp should be on level 10. You should be having those max 25 stats on your commanders. They do help significantly. You will see a big difference in there. You should have almost every single quarter except for 1, maybe 2 maxed out. your quarters here. If you don't have enough gold, try to reach out and try to get it like so. As you can see right there. So, you should have at least your main, your main unit camps maxed out level as well. Like for me, I have scout layers. For expert advice, it's really important to max those out. Main reason is because when you max out a camp for a unit, it's gonna make it so they're 40% reduction in conscription time. That is phenomenal because when you go into your ring, like so, let's boost that up. You're gonna have this thing called Abundant Force, and that's gonna give you a 10% on top of that. That's gonna give you 50% reduction time for your forces, which is gonna make it super fast, super quick, and super easy for you to produce military forces. Main reason why you want to have your max out on your market is because when you're going here, you're not going to, once you max out a lot of stuff, you're not going to use stone as much. So you're going to take your stone, and with your stone, you're going to fluctuate your wood, iron, as well as, oh, sorry, I messed up there. Okay, you're going to take your wood and your iron. Let's take the iron ores right here. And your grain especially. And you're going to be able to exchange because you're going to have so much excess stone that you're not using because the game simply doesn't use it after you're done building. So you're going to want to max out your marketplace because that's where you're going to get majority of your grain, your iron, and your wood. And that's what you're going to use to recruit, of course, your units. Now, this is what I got to say. When you are actively playing, like you're playing in 2 to 3, 4 hours, what you want to do is recruit every 30 minutes for your units. Recruit every 30 minutes for your unit. Since I'm streaming, I'm actually going to do an hour because that's how long I make my videos. It is a little frustrating to get as close as possible. So when you go right here, I'm going to do an hour. Make sure you do 4 at a time or 3 at a time. You don't want to waste a lot of time just waiting around trying to get something done. Boom. And voila. Reason why you want to do this is because when you're actively playing and you're actively fighting or taking land, you won't get enough units prepared to replace the unit you lose from taking lands or fighting. So what happens is, and this is the truth behind this, is that when you try to like recruit more troops in like 5 hours, you're not going to be able to get those units even if 30 minutes pass by. I think it recruits like 30 minutes is like 10% of what it is. If it's like 5 hours, 30 minutes is, they'll give you a certain amount, but it doesn't completely give you those units. It'll give you small parts of that, why it's going there, but it's never going to give you completely. It's always going to leave you short, and you're going to be waiting forever or use gems just to do it, because if you cancel, you're going to have to start over again, and you don't want to do that, my friend. You know how much it sucks? You're like right here, you're like, I need units. Oh my god, it's 7 minutes. Oh, what am I gonna do? Everything else is an hour, but I need units. I need units now. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? They're all around me. And then you're like, I don't have any gems. What am I gonna do? I can't pay for it. I can't pay for it. Why am I so broke? A lot of you, I know it may be funny, but a lot of you know you've been there. Even the whales who spend a lot of money go like this. Why is my bank account not big enough? Why life limits me with the courses of money? So you want to be able to limit your recruitment when you're not active. Then you can go for, like, when you're going to sleep, I would do a 6-hour period. 6 to 8 hour period is good. That's when you can really get a lot of work done while you're sleeping. It's always worth it. Another reason why you want to shorten your time when you're recruiting is because you also want to use your grain to actually use for your apothecary. Your apothecary is where it's going to be for your units that are healing up, and you want to use that to be able to recruit so you don't have to waste time. It is faster for like I said in the evil faction in my past video, you want to use gems to get those out because you're going to be playing hardcore mode and those units need to come out quickly and you just don't have the time to wait. The apothecary is as close as we're going to get to accelerating unit recruitment. So you're going to constantly use that with one commander. That's just how it is. So let me explain how a little bit more tips on this for the expert when it comes to units. Hey, what's up, John? Welcome to the channel. Welcome for coming on back. Yeah, I know you enjoy and you missed me. You know, I know everybody, thank you for always coming on board and watching me. I gotta enjoy. Thank you for the community for supporting me. It's been one hell of a time, and you know, it's just fun to see everybody like give positive comments and just be there. You know, that's why I do this for you. I'm thinking about enrolling for the content creator for Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna see about that. Maybe I might be able to get accepted in. Who knows? We'll see. But definitely Rise of Warlord has always been a supportive company to me, and I'm very thankful to them as well. We've been having a wonderful time, and I can't wait for the new season in that game. I'm thinking about doing a third game. So let me know, guys, what kind of, out of the list in my description, there's a whole list of games there. Let me know what you guys want to see, what you guys want me to play out of those games, and I will go ahead and I'll get started on them, and we can start doing those things too. I was thinking about adding a third game in my list, but we'll see. But you know, for now we'll play Lord of the Rings for Agmar, and we'll get all our abilities to go forward, have fun, and you know, just
kill the dwarves, slay the elves, and submit to the humans and make them crawl on their knees. Never give up, never surrender. Let the darkness feed inside you. Let it burn. Let it take over your body. The Witch King comes, and he shall rise victorious!
Oh, sorry guys. I gotta really put that in control. You know, sometimes the evil part of me just can't help but to show its ugly face. All right, back to action with this. So we were explaining something about units. It's very important, you know. Did you see that? Oh, did he leave? Talking about units and everything like that. Let's see what happened here. Oh, he did. Look at that. For people who were on yesterday, yeah, he definitely left. He is definitely left town. Well, you know what that means, right? It means that we just need to steal all his land so he doesn't think about coming back. Right, John? That's right. We gotta do that. Because as an expert advice, when you have somebody who openly declares war on you, you got to destroy them. That's one. You got to annihilate them. That's two. And if it's hard to destroy or annihilate them, take their lands, make their life a living daylight hell. Because taking lands hurt, because it costs them resources to recapture those lands. And when you recapture lands that are level 200, like this one we're going to be capturing, that's when they actually have to reproduce, because they're already losing resources per hour, but now they got to lose their resources every minute. And it's been quite a show. It's been a lot of fun, I can tell you that. You got to teach people if they don't want to play around, you know, because the whole community of Lord of the Rings, for people who've been playing, now you're no longer a new player. You already got into the game. You're learning the mechanics. Now you're getting ready to play the game serious as an expert player. Spit a little bit on myself. Oh, Gabriel, just wipe out that saliva. I know you're salivating at killing somebody and taking their lands and how delicious it tastes when you do it. But please, control yourself. So, like I was saying before, when you're actually doing it and you're getting into the real matter in the hardcore, you're gonna learn that the lines are drawn. What does that mean? That means every faction here has negotiated land or parts of land that you should stay out of, and they agreed not to go into those lands unless war is to be breaking out. And it can get really ugly when players turn rogue, not following their faction or helping their faction, and that's when those rogue players get exiled. And when you get exiled, one or two things are going to happen. Your own faction is going to turn against you and destroy you completely. Or the other person's factions is going to go in there and destroy you completely. You don't win at all, especially if you betray and stuff. It's not very wise to betray. It's not very wise to break and be solo unless you're really a hardcore whale. Then nobody's going to really mess with you because you're a hardcore whale. If you have 20 commanders, they're all level 40, and you're just going and stomping people all over the place, and you have money, and you're throwing, recharging, boom, boom, boom. Unless a 40-man player comes against you, you're really just going to be an all-star, like me. I mean, I don't have my own little country here for no reason. I'm not Agmar. I'm Ferroshil Keep. I think that's how you say it. Ferroshil is Gabriel land. It's marked right there. It's land of Gabriel. For people in server 5 who know me, you'll get the joke. You guys get the joke. Literally, this land is just my fellowship and myself, and we farm it and we do it. So when somebody comes in and new players start with us and they're in this land here and they come and destroy our players, this guy killed like 10 people in Agmar, and I didn't know until I saw it, until he attacked my land. And then I was like, oh no, this is not going to happen. So I went over there, this player here, and, I guess he was upset. I guess I made him upset. Maybe I might have made him upset. Maybe I probably did make him upset. But he came in there, 8 commanders, all level 35 and higher. Some level 40, 44s, whatever. He came in there, I brought 6 commanders. He thought he can bully me and stuff like that, but he didn't know. He didn't know me. And what happens is, I built this beautiful garden here, this wonderful, it's like somebody comes to my front door, I build this beautiful garden, they come and ruin it, and I say, hey, what are you doing? And they're like, you can't do anything. I'm stronger than you. And next thing you know, you pull out a gun and you shoot them. It's similar like that. So he came over with 8 commanders. I had 6. And then I went and I just spanked him and sent him through the floor. He got so angry. let me think. He got so angry, right? He speaks in a different language, but it's okay. We're gonna show you anyways, right? He got so angry. He started calling me pathetic. As you can see, of course, content pathetic. You can get how the conversation is. Where is it? Where it's like, put money on a phone game. I just wanted to show you how people get sometimes. Okay, anyways, without putting money in the game, I will win you. So, that's not true. Let me tell you guys, you could be a free-to-play player or a pay-to-win player. If you know how to play the game, you know how to play the game. So that's why I'm creating this content for you guys, so that way you're at the level that you need to know how to battle. It's very, very easy to battle. It's called stacking. Stacking is very important in Lord of the Rings. One reason why is that your units don't come out as fast as you want them. It's always like 50% when you lose them. There's more ways to actually make it better and make it easier on you. So, way of order is this. You have a group of people there, right? They have 8 people. Let's say they have 8 people stacked on top of each other. Well, let's not go with 8 because it might get confusing. Let's say they have 3 people stacked on top of each other. What you're going to do is you're going to send your highest commander, the strongest commander, on top, right? So that commander is going to, boom, hit him, enter into draw. You send another commander on top of that, because in draw, when the timeline is on draw, no damage is actually physically happening to that commander. And it's actually I don't know if I should say this. I'm giving away my secrets. God, if I say this, guys, and it comes back, and then everyone starts doing it on me, I know who to blame. All of you. So, when you go into a draw, no damage actually happens. So what happens is, let's pull up a past report here. Yeah, earlier some guy tried to attack me, but it's okay. Alright. It was a misunderstanding on his part, so we both, I had to talk to him too. So, let's say you get this battle report, your commander enters in a draw, you see this, and it goes through a timeline, right? What you're going to do is, as soon as you see that draw, send another commander in. You're going to stack that in. What that commander is going to do is fight the army you're at draw with. It's going to deal damage, wipe that unit out, and guess what happens? Your draw is going to lead your commander with 0 damage on him because you just wiped that out. That guy will go on to the next army. Once he's in draw, send another commander. Boom. Get it right there. And keep stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking. Because what's going to happen is that first commander that's in draw, once it goes out of draw, it's going to go back onto the stack, wipe out. The second draw is going to go back, wipe out, wipe out, wipe out. And guess what happens? You received 0 damage the whole entire time you're drawing. With the next guy, it's only the person that goes on top of the stack that's receiving the damage. So you're wiping out tons of units. So I did this guy who had 8 units, all tier 4. He had a lot of tier 4, probably about, I'd say 5,000 units. It's 5,000 units. It felt so good wiping them all out. Because you know how heavy that is? That sucks. I'm going to be really honest with you. It's terrible. Trying to get that back is terrible. So he had all these tier 4s, tier 5s, like the best units. He has the top hardest to make units. I wipe all 8 of his commanders, all the units. He's steaming at this point because he doesn't understand how to play the game. So he comes back. I was like away from it. You know, I kind of set all my commanders back to reset, whatever. And I left the commander there. I came back, beat a commander one time. And he was like, oh, yeah, you know, stuff, and you're bothersome. You're going to stuff like this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wipe you out and attack you. And I go, bro, what is wrong with you? Why do you have so much anger? Don't you know? I don't want to fight you. It's just not worth it. It's pointless. Right? Didn't listen. So I had to do it again. I got my buddy here, John, Goodman Lancer, who's my royal guard, because I am the king and he is my royal guard. We came in there, slammed it again, double stack, took all his land, and yeah, he left. He left today because we got very close to his base, and I was planning to wipe him out, because that's what you do when somebody is a nuisance. And and that's how he left. So we won. I feel great. We don't have to bother. We're just going to take his land just to make sure he doesn't come back. So, and that right there is the biggest way that you want to do, is you want to start stacking those units, because when you stack those units properly, you're going to be doing the best. What you want to do is do the strongest to weakest, because once you build the stack, right, the weakest unit's going to be last, and once it resets here, the other ones are going to be able to come down. So it's like, I don't know if anybody ever played Jenga. Like, you take it, you put it on top, and eventually the lower stacks become weaker, and you keep building, and yeah, and it will all come down, and then next thing you know, you got to reset and do that. But man, let me tell you, they can counter stack you. Enemy can counter stack you big time. And I will show that in a can I show that today right here? Let's see here. If I... No, we can't take any of... Okay, so I might go ahead and stack here. What are you? Right here? Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try to find a second guy. I'm going to send him over, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean when we do stacking. Maybe I can 30,000, 48,000. I think we could do it with the 48,000. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, so let's go here. Let's get this guy moving here. Okay, so it's going to take a little time, but that's fine. We'll keep on going explanation here. So we're going to show you how the stacking mechanic works, how to properly put it into place, how to do it in the right time. We're going to just use the land. It's a lot easier to do it against players than it is land. Sometimes lands, when it has two barracks and stuff like that, it can get a little weird. I don't know why. The game is just set like that. But we're going to try to show you how to do it, and how to properly be able to land those hits and be able to do a clean swipe. So again, with your ring, you want to make sure you have this powerful sweeping. This works against other players that are stationary as well as land. Those are armies that are naturally standing still on there, like regular enemies that you see in the game that are just standing there. They're really great against players who stand in one location. It will help with 10% more damage. This is something that is really useful to use. You can take a big advantage, and it's great for the stacking. It's really great for doing the stacking. Like I said, enemies can also reverse stack you. So what happens is, if somebody going on top of stacking you, what you do is, once they hit you and they go into, and you go into draw, right? You go into draw, and then they go on top of you, and they're trying to stack you, right? Once you go into draw and you send another one to do a stack, so you're gonna go in and send a stack and draw, right? Once you got 2 draws, let them send another one. Wait for the first commander on them to finish their draw. Send another one in there. Reverse stack. You're gonna win. It's gonna wipe out. That's how to stop that. If you really want to stop somebody stacking, let them stack twice on top of them. Let the timer get very close to finish. Send your unit in there. Like, I think about like 5 seconds. The second commander to reverse stack, and you'll just reverse it on them, and they have to continuously send people in, otherwise they're gonna lose the battle. That's how reverse stacking works. It can get like a chess game. And to be honest with you, the more commanders you have, the better a chance you are at reversing the stack and putting it in your favor. So what you do is you wait for, the timer should be about when you're going to draw at least like 10 seconds, or if you need 30 seconds for the second commander to get there. Don't do it in a minute, because they can automatically reinforce. You have to do it in a short period of time. That, or let the stack, if they're the one who is drawed and not you, you have to let their draw go by and then finish it. How many commanders do I have? We said this yesterday. I have 17 commanders, almost 18 commanders now. I have 17 commanders, almost 18. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I have essentially an 8-man stack. So why I say 8-man stack is because you always divide your commanders in half, because it's always every other commander that's going to stack on top. So I have an 8-man stack. So I'm actually pretty good. It's very hard to beat me if I'm stacking. If you're stacking against me, it's very hard to beat me in a stack if I reverse stack you. If I counter stack you, you're gonna lose, because I have more commanders that I can just double stack on. Double stack when you fight in a army is when you send 2 commanders that are gonna land almost at the same time. They're like a second apart or 2 seconds apart, and when they hit, the computer is gonna divide the army. So let's say this is kind of like a little messed up. I wasn't sure if I was going to share this with you guys, because it's you can really destroy a player this way. So there is a thing called syncing an attack. You're syncing an attack. So at the same time, you're going to be able to time both commanders with the same speed. They have to have the same speed. So if you have 2 armies with the same 2 commanders with the same army, then what you're going to do is you send them all together on one target. What's going to happen is that commander is going to first land and split in 2. So their power, if they have a 65,000 power and you have 2 40s, it's going to split their army in half and give them only 31.5. I mean, sorry, it says 65, so 32.5. So that right there, your level 40s automatically beat them, clear them out, even though that you have a weaker power level. Because you're sending 2 units at once, you're able to divide his power level by dividing his army, and automatically you're going to win that. That is called a syncing attack. You can destroy high level players with that. It is devastating when somebody uses it correctly, because all of a sudden you'll see this big whale of a player that has 65,000 on the level 40 or even 80,000. I think, what's the most you can do on a level 50? I think a level 50 is 80 or 100k. And you'll see these players that have 40k destroy somebody who has 70k or 60k, because they send two of the 40k armies at the same time. So the computer itself, because how does that work? Easy. There is a 4 to 5 second initiative, which means that in 4 to 5 seconds, they're gonna come here. In 4 to 5 seconds, they're gonna come into contact. So what's gonna happen is, once the 2 units hit, that, it's gonna do that little timer that gives it like 1, 2, 3, 4. But when you send 2, the computer is gonna look at it like, oh, I have to divide this force with this force, so I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, divide the combat damage between the two armies, because it's mathematics. Everything in this game is mathematics, just to let you guys know. And it's gonna divide those armies, and then boom, you win. The other person is gonna look confused, because now don't think you can do this like with like tier 1 units. You do this kind of tactics with tier 3 and tier 4 units. If you can't make a lot of units and you need to make 240s, you do that. So what happened was you sent it 240 synchro attack, boom, wipes out their commanders. I have seen whales literally livid, lose their mind about how they lost to a level 40, because they don't understand how it works. How they lost to a level 40 commander that has half the power that they do. And it is so hilarious. It's very hard to pull off. It does take training to do, because you have to time it together. And that's exactly what you have to do. So right here, we got... Well, he shares the same speed as him because they have the same army. He's slower though, so he won't be able to do the synchro. He won't be able to sync up attack with any of those commanders. So I hope this is helping you, because I remember in my Gundor video, and I did an expert a tip guide for that. A lot of players say, well, I want a little bit more. So now I'm going a little bit more in depth with the evil faction, so you guys can get some newer advice instead of just the same stuff. So we're going to be able to show you how to do a stack attack. So I'm going to show you right now, because we should be able to do it on this level 2 land here. Okay, so once you get your troops ready, you're gonna send your bigger one. Could I actually reinforce this guy to make him stronger? Yes. All right, I'm gonna let him reinforce real quick. It's only gonna be 2 minutes. So when you usually do this, you're gonna take your stronger commander first. Your weaker commander is gonna go second. So you want your stronger commander first, because what happens is if you send your weaker commander in first, he may get wiped out and the stack is not applied. Therefore, you're not going to get the extra additional stack benefits. You're going to just lose. Never send your weaker commanders first. You want your stronger commanders first, because you want to be able to hit that draw. It's important to hit the draw, because if you don't hit the draw, guess what? You're not going to win. You're going to fail. You're going to lose every time. And in Lord of Rings, you want to make sure you're always doing a 2v1 hit with each and every one. I'm guaranteeing you, you're going to win your battles. You're going to win your battles. You're going to stop losing to those higher players. And those higher players that spend all that resources on those expensive teams that put money in it, they're going to get very upset. Because now they got to spend money to able to get them back. And it's not going to be as good as they have. And they lost a lot of resources. They lost a lot of resources, and that's exactly what you want to do. So, okay, so back to what I was explaining and giving you guys some good important, some tips vibes here. That's what you want to do when you set up. For your expert advice for setting up armies, this is exactly what you want to expect for setting up. You want to have 2 different, I guess you want to have 3 different classes now that I think about it. You're going to have a siege class, you're going to have a support class, and you're going to have a main strike class. The way how that works is that your main strike class, right, you're going to go here, your main strike class are going to have your heavy hitters. So in this case, here, we'll go... Well, okay. These are my heavy hitters right now. So you're gonna have your heavy hitters. Those are gonna be the ones that you have primarily your tier 4 units. Your tier 4 units are gonna be your heavy hitters. They're gonna be able to do a lot of damage. You'll notice that they're really strong because they're mostly tier 3s and then a tier 4. That's your heavy hitter. That's going to be your most expensive. You want to have 4 of those, maybe 5 at most. Actually, you could do 6. 6 of those would probably be at most. It's very hard to manage them. So my recommendation is have 4 of those, 4 heavy hitters. Then you're going to have some support. Support are going to be your tier 2s right here. So these are the support units that you can get a lot of them. You can produce a lot of them, and they're very easy. You don't lose a lot of resources by making them, and they're able to get into the battle and do the stacking. Your support units are going to be your stack units. So right here, we're going to send in our strongest one. We're going to send in our strongest one. He's going to go into a draw, and we're going to show the battle reports as well. Okay, he's going into, all right, that timer that I was talking about, the 3, 2, 1, boom, he's in a draw. Now we're gonna send our weaker commander with our tier 2s and a tier 3 who's a support. He's gonna go in and he's gonna go ahead attack. As you can see, our main commander, he was able to fight off. He was able to fight them off, be able to hit them, as you can see, and got to the draw. Right here, we lost already a good amount. He still has a very high level 3 count, and we don't want to lose any more units. So we're going to send our support unit, because they're still in a draw. It's 4 minutes. So once the support unit gets in there, what we're going to do is, when we win the battle, to prevent from losing any more units, or exhausting, or actually wasting more time, right? So that's gonna go 1, 2, 3, boom, they're out. He draws, right? So why did he draw? Okay, so there was a second one in there. So he's got hit. So now we're on a second draw. We're gonna send now a weaker one. So as you can see, you go strong to weaker, and you're gonna start building up stack. So this guy, he got in a draw. He didn't lose that many units compared to what we fought. You see, we fought this heavy hitter person right here, and we wiped out the remaining of the other one. So he's still in draw. He's not affected or damaged whatsoever. So once you go here, boom, the land has been recaptured. I believe the land is captured. Okay, that might have been a glitch. It is conquered. The land is conquered, right? Because that's what that sword is. So the land is conquered. Right here, you can see the weakest unit came in, wiped the remaining of her out. She's done. She's wiped. And by the way, once you captured one thing here, I'm gonna hold on, because usually I think the computer it glitched a little bit. I don't know what's going on. I'll let one of the draws finish up so it can register as a win, and I can take that land, because it's a little weird. It shouldn't have. It should have just automatically gave me that. So probably I didn't do enough siege damage. That's what I'm thinking, which is fine. Although my guys are coming back in there. John, you're stealing my land! Fall back! Apparently, yeah, you didn't capture it either. It's kind of weird. Okay. All right. So usually what happens, this is like a rare moment here, folks. It's probably the computer's not registering it, because we did our stacking technique, and it probably got confused because it still thinks the land is in conflict. But As you can see, it works. So, like I was saying here, you're going to send it. You're going to send the first strongest one go in here. He's going to fight. He's going to get in draw. Then you're going to send your second weaker one. That person is going to win against that first opponent. He stops receiving damage. So he's going to stay here and move up on the stack. So this one wipes the weaker one because, and look, barely any damage. No damage whatsoever. Tied up because it cuts their unit in half. So then they're going to go here. He's going to get in a draw here, be able to attack, do whatever damage that is necessary. And then this unit's going to come in, clean out, win the land, or beat the player. And that's how it's going to be. It's going to be 100% wonderful, and that's exactly what it needs to be. I'm going to see about doing that again. It's kind of a little weird. It shouldn't have... it should have just flipped over. Like, we had plenty of siege damage too, so I don't know why that happened as it gone, because that is only a level 200, which is a little weird. So we'll see. 3, 2, 1. It does the 3 second. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, there you go. So it wasn't enough siege damage. I don't know why. So you see your guys are still in draw. What you're going to do is you're going to press recall this army. Even if they're in draw, once the land is captured. Hey, how you doing? And welcome, welcome. Zuzi, welcome, welcome. Once the land is captured, you don't need to do anything. What what evil army comp do you recommend? Are you talking about units? What combined units? I will do that right now. I will tell you exactly what kind of comp I recommend. There's actually a couple of combinations you can do. But let me finish this real quick, like I was saying. But that's how you do the stacking damage technique. It works flawless. It will work every time. So you send the strongest, and you send a weaker commander and a weaker commander. It's gonna all stack up and draw. Then that strong commander will come out, boom, get on top, and he's gonna just wipe everything out, and you'll win every single time. Now, if they're smart and they know how to counter, if they know how to counter stack, you're gonna be in trouble if they're better than you, because when they counter stack, instead of them losing all their battles, you're gonna automatically lose it quick. So, and the only way to stop a counter stack is to send a double stack. When you do a double stack, that means you're sending 2 commanders at once. Because you got to be able to make up, reverse this. First, you got to get back the stack and reverse the stack that he built on top of you. And that's when it can get really confusing really fast. So, what comp of units combination that I recommend? So, I think I talked about this a little bit before. Oh, he's going back over there. I think I did talk about this before, about the kind of units I like using. So my main army that I like using a lot is going to be for if you're Agmar, because remember, every faction has their own tier 4. So the one I use a lot is, of course, Fallen, Dragoon, and Riders. I love Riders, I love Dragoons, I love Fallen. Those are my main 3 comp. Reason for this is because, one, they're super fast, so when you're able to attack, they're all gonna attack first. It doesn't matter if they're archers or whatever, your guys are gonna attack first, automatically in battle, like we've seen here. Let's play right here. So when you have these 3 mount units, the speed of them is super fast. And what's great about Agmar, when you start at Agmar, you do more damage. It's just how it is. It's not the best. Agmar needs a buff. We definitely need a big buff because it's not how it is. But I do recommend these 3 units. Dragoons are really good. Reason why Dragoons are good because they are anti-archery. As you can see, we already went in there, already attacked 4, did a lot of damage immediately. We're dealing more damage to them first, so we kind of have like a first strike ability to get in there and hit them before they hit us. So as you can see, their units are falling down greatly, and we are conquering this matchup. They can come at us. So another reason why I like using these mounted units together, each unit has a negative 10% of damage. So when you put them together, that's not physical damage either. That's 10% of all types of damage. That's focus damage, physical damage, burn damage, poison damage. They're going to be able to reduce that by 10%. So they're able to last longer and survive. They have pretty good HP defense, as well as when they go into attacks. So these 3 units, I really recommend doing it on commanders such as like Shadow or even like Kamal, who don't really have a picky kind of like a picky way of using which one to which. Because what I mean, how do I better explain this? In a way, if they have a particular favorite type of units, I would recommend using that type of units together. But Shadow and Kamal don't really have that when you go into abilities. Let me go back and show you. So when you go here, you see that these things are orange, the speed, and then you have the damage that is white. So the orange means that's what they're buffing. So these guys actually have a buff according to their commanders, what they have. I really like it. That's what I'm saying. Damage received is 10% less. They're really good. Dragoons are some of the best units in the game for evil factions, hands down. Fallens are pretty good too. Fallens are expensive. I wish they were a little bit better because especially the good factions, their tier 4 are better. But the speed on this is crazy. That's 114. HP is 93. That's good. Defense is 63. I really believe the damage for these guys should have been 50 to 60. 30 to 40 is just not enough damage, but I kind of understand because they wanted you to stack damage, but they should have already had a higher damage count so that way the stack damage can actually matter more. But it doesn't feel like it matters that much until you get into your like 5th turn. Your 5th turn, then you start seeing these guys completely wipe everything out. So that's really great about those kind of things. And riders are just anti-mount. If you're fighting good factions, right? If you're fighting good factions, you're able to fight a whole bunch of units that are mounted. I mean, I'm gonna just tell you this, good faction, most of their units are mounted. So riders are really good against them. They are anti-mount units. They do 20% more damage, as well as they receive 10% less damage. Just look at these stats. They're 35 to 41. They're not even tier 4. Their speed is 140. HP is 87, which is decent. Defense is decent. They're just not the best siege. That's what I think. Okay, what do you think about snipers and Morgul, Arla Blast, the range units for evil faction? I'll go into that right now because there's a couple of other ones. There is actually a good combo with snipers as well as the Morguls. So that's my main unit that I like to use. So let's go back to my base so we can pull up the other factions here. Now you're talking about snipers here. So snipers, and then you're talking about these guys. I think they're the evil faction. No, not the evil faction. Oh. Are you talking about the Morgul's, the range unit for evil? Oh, you mean these guys? Okay. Okay, so these guys are amazing. So I was trying to figure out what unit it was. I forgot that crossbows units become into these. These are tier 3s. So these guys are amazing. But I will say this. I'm going to say this 100% that they're not the best for PvP, but they are amazing for taking land. If you fight in a land base, these guys are really good at taking land. Reason for it, I maxed them out first to get the lands I needed. They're really good in the beginning. They're early game, especially with crossbows. If you follow my beginning tips, I use crossbows to conquer. It really accelerates your land gain. These guys really accelerate your land gain. But the problem with them is that they don't really do enough damage for their costs. It's better just to get the crossbow. The reason I say that, because you can still get crossbows right here, and you see the damage. It's still 7 to 15. Yes, they don't have the poison damage here. The additional, I think it's like 20% poison damage, but the poison damage doesn't really do that much. When they do stack, it's against PvP. This is what I'm saying. Against PvP, they're okay. They're not the best. I rather just use crossbow because you can get a lot more for cheaper. And if you calculate how much, because it's almost like about 30% less units. So with that 30% with the crossbows, you're actually going to get more. These guys are just really good for like having a small amount of them and working with them. So what best works with that is actually trolls. So when you do have trolls here, the mountain trolls are better. By the way, mountain trolls are for PvP. The cave trolls are more for your sieging. So like I was saying before, your third type of team is siege. That's what you want to use, are these cave trolls for sieging. They're cheaper, they're easier to attain, you can get a lot more, as you can see, for them, and they don't have to battle. But these guys are really good when you want to fight them. Now there is tier 4 trolls. Those are different stories. Man, they are broken. If you're in Mordor, you're going to be able to use those tier 4 trolls. They are amazingly good. They're able to attack all armies. Sorry guys, I just finished a 12-hour shift of work. I'm a little tired, so please forgive that yawn. But yeah, the Mordor is that they are these big, chunky trolls that are just astronomically amazing. They do everything. They're slow, but man, they do everything. They're tanks, they're siege builders, they're damage dealers, they're high in defense, they're high in HP, they're high in damage. They're expensive, but man, they're very hard to kill. There's some of the best evil faction units in there. If you're a Mordor player, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those tier 4 trolls are just amazing. So when you do your crossbows like such, or even your snipers, you're gonna put them with trolls. So you have your snipers. Snipers are good because they target ranged units. Most of the time people are going to be using the snipers over the crossbows. But for your support units that you want to make, what you're going to be is... I don't have the tier 4 troll yet, but I'm telling you, get them a lot. Get them a lot. Those trolls are amazing. So what you're going to do is your team... For your assault teams, what you want to do is put snipers with your mountain trolls, right? For Mordor, you want to have some mountain trolls, and then you want to have some tier 4 trolls with snipers. Those are going to be your 3 unit combinations. It is really crazy good. You will demolish any units that are out there, especially good units that use a lot of range, like elves. Elves, like when you're facing the elves, you're gonna destroy them because they mostly use bow units. Most of their units are bows. That's for Lindon, and also for Lorians. Those two right there, easy win. Now Gundor, I'm gonna be honest. If you're fighting Gundor, you're not gonna fight a lot of range because they don't have range units. Dwarves have one or two, not that much. So the main problem, and so this is a big point that I'll talk about with Gundor and Mordor. If you're in Gundor and you're in Mordor and you're playing the game, expect your game to be like the movie. Because the whole entire time, it's Gundor versus Mordor. Barely you're going to see Gundor or Mordor fight Rohan or anybody else but Gundor. Those two factions will fight each other to the teeth. Sometimes you'll see Gundor versus Isengard, but majority of the time it is Gundor versus Mordor. So, let me tell you guys something about this. Do not use snipers when fighting Gundor. Use your tier 4 trolls, use your tier 3 trolls, and then the thing that you're going to use is your riders. Use your riders because Gundor does use some decent amount of mount units. They're very good. As you know, their swans are mount units. Their cataphracts are mount units. Those are primarily what Gundor uses. Your trolls are going to wipe out their other ones. They're going to wipe out the, I forgot what their shield, the tower guards. Rangers you don't have to worry about. Rangers are only good when you're fighting against archery teams. You know, that's how it is. I play Gundor. You guys see my beta videos. I know how they all play out. But in reality, you're going to fight mostly in Gundor, cataphracts, swans, and oathbreakers. So if I was to build a team going against Gundor and I was Mordor, I would build, well, because you have to think about fighting oathbreakers, I would build trolls, the second tier 4 trolls, and then I would use Concerts or Alchemists. Where are you, Alchemists? I would use Concert or Alchemist because they do a lot of burn damage. Those how you destroy Oathbreakers. Oathbreakers are a big problem. They do not receive physical damage. Trolls are just able to distract them. So what you want to do is actually use your Corsairs as well as your Alchemists to kill Oathbreakers. Those are going to be your biggest trouble. Oathbreakers are really good. Do not underestimate them. Yes, they die after every battle, but let me tell you, if you don't wound them, they don't die. So you want to make sure you have burn, and you want to make sure your commanders are doing focus damage. Use your Kamals and Shadow as your commanders to do focus damage. If you have Sauron, like I do, you'll be able to do that. Do I recommend using Crushers, Reapers, Halberds, etc., Berserkers? Okay, so most of the time, I'm going to be very honest with you, the infantry units for the evil factions are, they're not the best. I'm gonna be, and poison works too. Yes, poison works as well. You can use these. You can use these guys to kill Oathbreakers. They are, well, there you go. They are anti-Oathbreakers. These guys are really good because they do double the attacks. They will wipe in Oathbreakers. But you don't want to count on just using that units when there's other units that will do a better job. Now, for an infantry team, what would I do for an infantry team? To be honest with you, a lot of people use Crushers. I'm not a really big fan of Crushers. I would use Crushers more like tanks. They're not... For me, I don't like them as much because they don't really kill the enemy quick enough. They are great for pulling up your defense. They are great for reducing the damage. But in reality, because a good faction having so much physical damage reduction, it's very hard for them to really shine. I am so sorry, folks. Man! Yawning. How dare you, Gabriel? How dare you yawn? Those who know, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Sorry, folks, I'm just working so much. I didn't know if I needed a twitch. So, when you're here, right, you're better off doing your Haliburts for tanking. Reason is they are just so good at demolishing mount units. They are just so good at doing counter. See, when an enemy hits a normal attack, perform a counter. They actually deal double the damage. These are going to be your best infantry units. Hands down, these guys are really good defense. They have a really decent amount of speed, and their HP is decent. Their damage is decent because when they do their counter attacks, they're going to do double, and that's 40 damage. That right there is really good. I highly recommend using those guys as your infantry. Another good infantry unit, Corsairs. Corsairs are really good at infantries. They can avoid attacks, and their normal burn attacks are really good. So why do I say about that? Because you want to bring units that can deal double the damage. Pretty much. Unfortunately, the evil factions are... Our base units, like our infantry units, are not the best. Our mount units are amazing. Our trolls are amazing. Even some of the specialist things, they're amazing too. But in reality, I would do the Haliburts with Corsair, but I kind of take that back. I wouldn't even use the Corsairs unless I have trolls. I would use the Corsair with trolls because I just remembered and I just forgot about this. But they did buff this, and forgive me because this actually just happened recently. They buffed Berserkers, so Berserkers are actually a lot better. I would use Berserkers with the Haliburts because the Berserkers now do 23 damage. Their HP is 40. Their 18 defense, their speed is better, and they stack damage like no tomorrow. Like, they start initially high damage dealers, and they are amazing. And they are unaffected by stun, and you can increase their defense. Berserkers now are really good after the change. So, this right here is really good. Crossbows, some of the best infantry, the long range rangers, they are still good. It's really good. I think some of the evil units got buff and stats. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Zuzi, I'm sorry about that. I was just like, yeah, just Berserkers are actually really good now. Berserkers are really good now. They are amazing. I would recommend using Berserkers because Berserkers are gonna take you in the long run. A good combo for Berserkers, if you're gonna build a combo with Berserkers, is to build them with, where is that unit? Here you go. A good combo is actually with Reapers. Reapers also got a buff too. So Reapers and Berserkers are amazing together. The reason is because Berserker already starts with high damaging, and as you can see, this continues on to do damage after, I think when it's fully maxed level up, it's like turn 2 or turn 3, that it deals those continuous damaging, and it will prioritize the person with the lowest defense, so it will wipe out those archers. So Reapers and Berserkers together now before they weren't that good, but now they are amazing. I would definitely combine those two because as the Berserker's damage are incredibly high first turn, second turn, third turn, they do fall off, but that's where these guys, because on turn 3, these guys are going to kick back in, they're going to come in, they're going to slice and dice, they're going to eliminate, and then for your third unit, I would probably do crossbow for that double the damage unit. That, or I would use, if you want a little bit more tanky, use these guys, the halberds, the halberders, barters. They're going to be the ones that are going to deal for the mount units and also the counterattack. So as you're dealing damage, so you're going to get, what you're going to get is high damage, triple damage, high damage, triple damage. So I would do the Berserkers, Reapers, and these guys together as a unit. They do really well together because you're constantly dealing damage, high damage too, and that's ridiculous. You're dealing high damage. If I was to build a double attack formation, I would use these guys, I would use crossbows, and I would use these Morgul archers. The reason is because those are going to deal constantly double the damage, and that I would put probably against an infantry unit. Like if you see Gondor, they have a lot of infantries. You want to be able to use these guys because they do a lot better at killing infantry units. That's how it is. They just do a lot better at killing infantry units. The archers do a lot better at doing that as well. Yeah, see, yeah, I'm on to separate melee units, attack enemies nearest to them, blah, blah, blah. While you randomly attacks all positions, yeah. So, those are the really combine of the units when you're building those. And it is very important to get those done. Here, let me do this. Boom. While we're talking. So, that's what I would recommend. Definitely 100%. Reaper skills. Yeah, well, Reaper skills, they activate on turn 3. So that's when you level them up with gold. If you don't level them up, they're turn 5. But Reaper skills, when they're max level, it's turn 3. I believe so. It's turn 3 when they level up max. Here, I don't know if I can do it because I don't have Reapers. I don't use Reapers because I use mounts. Where are you? It's a shame they don't show you max. So once you level up to max, I believe that's that's round 3. Because anything in green when you level up, it will affect, that number will change. So I believe this goes to round 3. If I remember when you max out to level 10. I've seen them before maxed out. They actually do pretty well. Yep. So that's what I would do. I'll constantly put that, constantly get that. Whew, man, we talked about a lot today. We shared a lot of information. We gave some really useful tips on battling as an expert. You guys are getting close. You know, you guys are getting freaking close to being masters. That's right. Be proud of yourself. Know that you all done it. And know that you all did it with me. After all, it's all fun and dandy here in the dark side, right? Well, everybody, thank you for coming with me today and enjoying this experience. It's always been a fun. It's always having a great time. And like I said, this video is sponsored by BlueStack. Make sure to check them out with the link below. There is Lord of the Rings download link if you guys want to play Lord of the Rings on your phone or even on your PC. I did put the link down below. It's in the section, so make sure you guys go in. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm glad you came on by, Zuzi. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for my live viewers. Everybody's always welcome during the live views. I don't mind asking questions. I don't mind going over things. You guys are so welcome. Now, we will be doing more videos, of course. I am going to be doing Rise of Warlord. I do have some events planned out. We just, unfortunately, plans got canceled today. We have to move it out to next week for our tournament, our 1v1 tournament. I think it's going to be good. So thank you guys Thank you for going and hitting that subscribe and like button. I encourage everyone to do that. If you really love the channel and want to support, there you go. I do have a Pantheon. I'm working on it. I'm going to be writing stories, doing all that other stuff. I do have already a story made, putting some more music up there. It's been it's been a little bit hard to control everything. I do work 12 hours a day, and I also do this. I come on here and I stream with you guys, and I try to run my Discord at the same time. By the way, if you guys want to be part of the Phoenix Club and join our Discord and just talk about the Lord of the Rings games or Rise of Warlord or any of that, the link is now in the description below. You guys can actually join that. Come and join the Phoenix Club. Come and talk around. We have tons of members just having a fun time in Lord of the Rings, Rise of Warlord, Final Fantasy Tactics, War of the Visions, so many other games. I really am happy to see you guys. Thank you for coming on board. This is Gabriel Phoenix signing out. See you later and have fun.